All right, everybody, here we are back at Tropical Acres. Here's Alex, and this is the tree we're talking about today, ST Maui. So, take it away.
Okay, so this is one of several ST Maui mangoes we have. It is called ST Maui, not Saint Maui. A lot of people see that abbreviation and they think it means saint, but actually it's somebody's initials. And the backstory on it is from Hawaii, and we're not sure who, but it was evaluated by the University of Hawaii a long time back, some decades ago, and did not get selected in their mango evaluation program. There's a file that you can find on the internet that was about recommendations for mangoes grown in Hawaii. It was done by Richard Hamilton. And if you go to the bottom of that file, there's a little chart of mangoes that were not recommended. And on that little chart at the bottom of the file, you can see a mango that's just labeled ST, S-T, but nothing else. That is the ST Maui. At some point, I think in the 1990s, though, this mango was sent to Florida by Richard Hamilton to Richard Campbell, who grafted some of them, and they got introduced to some of the collections down in Homestead. So that's how ST Maui got to Florida, and it's why ST Maui is hardly known in Hawaii. It was not propagated there, but it is a Hawaiian mango. It's probably descended from a mango called Piri, or Bombay as we know it here, or possibly White Piri, which is a Hawaiian mango as well. It has some traits that it shares with those. But it's a very, very unique mango. ST Maui is one of the most uniquely flavored mangoes that we grow, and every year I get a really interesting response from people that try this. Some people say that it has flavors like guava in it. Other people have tasted other kinds of fruit in this mango. It's certainly one of a kind. And it's one of my personal favorite mangoes, and I try to talk it up to people that have never heard of it before. It is a very vigorous tree, unfortunately, but it is a productive mango in Florida, and as you can see, this tree has multiple crops on it. So you can see the fruit from the first bloom, pretty large. It is a kind of a round-shaped fruit, gets very nice color, gets some red blush to it with a little bit of yellow background color. So it's a beautiful fruit, fiber-free, and has a very light flesh color. And you can see some of the clusters in here and down here as well. This tree is going to have a lot of fruit this year. So it's not been really grafted much in the Florida nursery trade. We have produced some of these trees. We're going to make more of them because it's becoming more and more popular. It's very resistant to anthracnose, and hasn't had too much trouble with powdery mildew either. So it's done pretty well. And we planted a second one some years ago, and then we top worked another tree a couple years ago into an ST Maui also. So we'll have a decent supply of this mango this year, and we're excited about that because this is really, really good. I hope a lot of people get to discover this variety this year. So.
Any black spot issues?
No, I mean, I've had a few fruit get it, but I think any mango can get that a little bit. I've not, lost any large amount of fruit to that disease. So so far, the results have been encouraging with this one as far as disease goes.
How old is this tree?
We planted this in 2014. Probably around summer of that year, I think. I think we planted it a little later than some of the other trees here. It would have been planted as a 3-gallon tree. It hasn't received a major pruning yet. It's going to get one after this crop is done. But it's cropped a number of years now, and we love this mango. The other tree's a little shorter because it was planted a little later. But it's got a bunch of fruit on it too. So
Sure. And I know you'll have these for sale here real soon once they're ripe. What about the trees? Are they for sale?
yeah, so we grafted at least, I think, 1 or 2 batches of ST Maui, so we'll have some ST Maui trees available. If enough people ask for them, we'll do more of them. And I hope that's the case, because this is a mango that deserves to be grown here. And because of its vigor, I think it would do well in the state of California. So I don't know how many people have tried it out there, but it's just such an exceptionally flavored fruit here in Florida. I don't see how it wouldn't be phenomenal over there as well. and so it definitely needs to find more people to grow it. So.
Now, if the fruit is that good, when they evaluated it in Hawaii with all the other mangoes, why did this one not get selected?
Good
in your
question.
opinion?
So mango trees can get rejected by evaluation programs for a variety of reasons, and sometimes it's for reasons like excessive vigor. Sometimes it's because of disease problems. Other times it's because of something as simple as they didn't like the shelf life on it, or they thought that the tree flowered inconsistently or something like that. There's a lot of different reasons why that can be the case, and it could just be that the individual tree that was getting evaluated just didn't perform very well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all the other trees will. So we don't really know why. I think only Richard Hamilton would know the answer to that, and I'm not even sure if he's still alive anymore. So here in Florida, the knock on this tree is just that it's an aggressive growing tree that has to be pruned. But if you've got the yard space for a tree that you can maintain around maybe 15 feet in height or so, as opposed to a tree under 10 feet, which I wouldn't recommend. Trying to keep this tree under 10 feet tall is going to be difficult in the long run. But if you have the space for it, this is really awesome. So.
And what would happen if you tried to keep it 10 feet? It's just more work?
Yeah, probably if you did that, it would just try to grow too much and wouldn't flower very often. So that would be the problem with trying to keep a really vigorous variety like ST Maui, under 10 feet. I think you can realistically keep them more around 15 feet with some diligent pruning, and they won't try to grow too much in the fall.
What size is it now?
At this point, the tree's about 15 feet tall, probably from the top. So it's a little too tall. I'm going to take it back down a few feet after the crop is finished this year. So hopefully it'll still fruit well the next year.
Sure. So I know you've tasted hundreds and hundreds of mangoes. Would this be in your top 10?
Possibly, yeah. It's certainly in my top something. It's hard to describe the flavor. It really is. I would classify it as an Indian West Indian flavor, probably, because it shares some terpenes with those mangoes, but other people would probably try it and disagree. So certainly I've tasted a little bit of that guava component that people say, but I've tasted a lot of other stuff in this fruit too. It's very sweet. When we've bricks tested it, it's in the 20s, which is very good for any mango. So yeah, it's one of a kind. So.
What mango would you say tastes closest to from the mangoes you've tasted?
The closest this thing tastes to, maybe, I don't know, maybe Jakarta or White Piri or something like that, but I think other people would disagree with me on that, so I'm not sure where to put it. There's a mango that Walter Zill's promoted called Guava Mango. There's some similarities with that one too, I think. So it's so hard to describe some of these things because there's so much going on in them, and probably if you had like a panel of people trying this, and they'd write a bunch of different answers as to that question.
Now, how many of these trees do you have on the property?
We have 3. We've got this one's the oldest one. We have another one over on the west side of the house, and then another one that I top worked just a couple of years ago. That top work one's not fruiting yet, but the other one that we planted is fruiting very well this year too. So.
Now, I know you sell budwood to other mangoes. Do you have any for this tree if people want to buy it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could find some on it now, but we check budwood multiple times a week. So
but if they requested it, you can.
Yeah, we go out and
we
check the tree. I mean, finding budwood on ST Maui is not too hard most of the time because it's got very active buds.
Sure. And when's this season for this mango?
It's a mid-season mango, so you're not going to find it when the mango season starts. You're going to have to wait. But I would say normally, if we were to say early season mangoes are like May, June, it's more of like a late June, July fruit most years. However, these big mangoes you see here are going to be ready way before July. Probably these will be beginning of June or something like that. They'll start, and then the second crop is going to be July. So 2 crops on this tree.
Yeah, some of it's flowering right there already.
Yeah, so it was flowering pretty enthusiastically this year, and there's still some blooms coming out of this tree. So, which is wonderful to see. We might even get some like August or September ST Maui's, who knows?
Now, I know you say it's pretty unique here in Florida. Do you know people that have this tree in Florida?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, I got it originally from Julian Lara, and Julian Lara had one on his property, and I grew it I should say my first ST Maui I purchased like in 2011, so I've grown this thing for like 10 years, but I was growing it in Loxahatchee, and out there it fruited out there, which was a good sign because in Loxahatchee a lot of mangoes didn't fruit well. So I got that tree like 10 years ago, and then I got this one, I think, I got this from Julie and Laura probably shortly thereafter and planted it in 2014. And ended up planting a second one as well. So there's people down in Homestead that have grown it for sure, but like I said, not common in the Florida nursery trade, so not a lot of people within Florida growing it. So
Not yet, but thanks to this video, it will
yeah,
be.
hopefully.
All right, that's awesome. All right, everybody, there it was, ST Maui, not Saint Maui, but ST Maui. And he does mail order through the mail. You can get one or get some budwood from this tree. I'm so excited to taste this, and thanks for sharing with us today.